Peace, 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 peace.
And chicken grease.
Peace and the chicken grease. You know what I'm saying? I am Nine, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Nine at YouTube. And this is another edition of the Butterfly on the Wall. And we're here with Brother John. We tapping in, man. We tapping in.
What it do, people? What it do?
What it do? What it do?
All right, so let's get to just the further conversation that me and the brother was having, right? So, why is it that we have rival, if you will, gang members? Now, again, we just went through a whole thing about what I consider a gang and what I consider that second family, which could also become your first family. That's another topic.
Right.
But nevertheless, so just to keep it so that we understand what we're talking about, we're going to use the lack of a better term, because this term this term doesn't do justice for what it's supposed to be. And that term is gangs. So, now here's the thing. We got a lot of brothers and sisters, Latinos, you got whites, it don't matter what race you are. You got a lot of people that call themselves a gang member.
Correct.
They belong to some form of a gang. Now, there's a lot of them, believe it or not, and I'm talking about a lot of old head gang members that actually know where this shit came from. But there's too many that don't know where this shit came from. And what I mean by that is, where did this whole gang shit come from? This gang shit didn't come from... There's a reason why we have gang members who are rivals. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You got different gangs that are rivals with other gangs. And that ain't what it was supposed to be. That's not what it was supposed to be. That's not how the inception of that shit came about. Okay, so when we go back and we search our ancestral roots, we find out that we had different sets of tribes. And these different tribes lived by certain codes, but they weren't beefing with each other. You understand? This is where that shit came from. And these individual tribes, they were set in place to be able to go and do certain things, to like say certain mishaps or issues were occurring that weren't supposed to occur. Then they would go in and set the law. That's what they were there to do, the right thing. Right. That's what that was all about. And you had different gangs like that. Okay. Then it went from that point to where obviously we know corruption always creeps in somehow, some way, some shape or form. Okay. Don't get me started about what does the acronym CRIP stand for. Okay. We already know what that stands for.
Community Revolution in Progress.
Say that one more time, sir.
Community Revolution in Progress.
So how is a community revolution in progress got anything to do with somebody killing somebody just because they wear a different color?
Deep.
You see where I'm going with this, people?
Right.
And we ain't gonna even talk about how that even came apart. The thing is, either way it go, corruption is corruption. So if we want to keep it real and keep it at its ancestral roots, then we need to step up and do what we're supposed to do as grown men belonging to these families. You feel me?
Exactly.
It's that simple, man. Don't get me wrong. Everybody, you know why it is that us as black people want to be so, we got to show the pomp and glitter. We got to go and get the bling bling. We got to drive the fancy whips. You know why we always do that? Because, see, a lot of us don't realize that we are niggas. In other words, we are kings and queens. Okay? The reason I say we are kings and queens is because the fact of the matter is that we fucking are. If somebody want to argue, let me know. Let's get on the hookup. We can talk about it.
Right.
Anyway, we are. Okay, we come from royalty. So since we come from royalty, we're used to having this type of stuff. That stuff is just starting to come back out of us again because the further we go, look what happens. So this is why we always try to have this bling bling. But in having, hold on, where was I going? Bring me back, brother. Bring me back.
We on the tribal. The reason why
the dissension. All right, so yeah. So in other words, in having the purpose of that whole bling bling thing is this. Because when one person has something that another person doesn't, what tends to happen?
Either jealousy or envy. One or the other.
Now, how can that be a community in response? How? How can that be a family? A family, you shouldn't be jealous of your family member. Let's take it to Islam for a minute. In Islam, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu said, you will not become a true believer until you desire for your brother
what you want for yourself.
Say it again.
You can't want. You gotta want for your brother what you want for yourself, man.
So see, that's family. I grew up in gangs, man. Well, I ain't gonna say gangs in one gang. But we actually, every last one of us really was actually blood related. That's the only difference. So we happen to do the stuff we did, and it is what it is. But we looked out for each other mainly because we actually had bonds that tie, and that means we actually, some of us came from the same womb, or wombs that were joined because they came from the same womb.
Indeed.
So we were actually family, literally, really family. So even though we call ourselves gang bangers, if somebody was shooting at one of our gang members, well, that gang member was either my cousin, either one of my cousins, or a brother. And I don't want my brother or cousin to die. They just happen to be gang members of the same gang that I'm in. So therefore, I would try harder to make sure nothing bold would happen. Well, think about that for a minute. Now, if you say you're a part of a group or an organization that's supposed to be whatever the organization is, I don't care if it's good or bad, but if you're a part of that organization, then that means everybody in that organization should have a cohesive bond. That means if one person is hurting, then the rest of that whole organization should do whatever the fuck they can to make sure he ain't hurting. It's that simple, because you're only as good as your weakest link. Find somebody that's hurting. For instance, let's say we got a gang. And their whole thing is about selling drugs and all this. Now you got one gang member in there. Whatever the case may happen, he ain't getting his fair take of the cut. Right, so he's struggling and making his payments. He late on his car note, his cell phone bill. His girl bugging at him because she can't never get no spending money. And then all of a sudden he gets pulled over by the cops with some work. Right. But then they send them alphabet boys at him because they know he's a part of that gang. Right. So now they like, look, we'll give you this money. We just need you to tell us. See, here come the infiltration shit. You see what I'm saying? And this is how they infiltrate. They do that every fucking time. They take the weakest link and infiltrate through that weakest link. They'll grab something, wave it over his head. It'll be prison or money or death. And then that person will cave in. And as soon as that person caves in, now you got you're being infiltrated and you don't even know it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is how all this shit happens. And then we fall to the wayside. We fall to the side that we ain't supposed to be. Because as a family member, we should have love. And if we look at the titles of whatever organization we claim we're in, we know what that title state. That title don't state be out here being a hoodlum.
Half the titles have laws and bylaws that they don't even know about because it's 20, 30 years, 40 years old, when it's the gang members' responsibility is to tap into those bylaws, those rules, those constitutions, but they don't. So it's a lawless society.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So the gangs, and that's coming from a Crip, you know what I mean? From a community that's a citizen of Revolution and Progress, and I carry myself as such. I'm helping old people cross the street. I'm stopping youngsters from fighting, introducing rival gang members that's of the same content of my
and not to cut the brother off, but he really be doing that stuff. I done seen him. He really be doing that stuff. You hear me?
And if I wasn't a Crip, I wouldn't be doing it. And it's because I had to tap into what Crippin' was about. Like, because when I came into Crippin', it was about tripping. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping with this block, tripping with this block. We look alike. We just got different colors. We might be family members because we were separated hundreds of years ago from wherever we at. So now we claiming, I might be claiming Compton, or I might be claiming Chicago, or I might be claiming Oklahoma or Michigan.
Ain't none of us from that shit.
We ain't from neither one of these places. Man. You get what I'm saying? So we gotta find out where we from. And then we gotta take our show on the road, and then we claim wherever we at. You feel what I'm saying? That's how powerful we is. I'm way up here. You don't see no other person from my quote unquote gang up here, so I represent my gang, quote unquote, in the best of manners, and it ain't running up doing what thugs do. Is doing what leaders do. You know what I'm saying?
What love do.
Yeah, what love do. Not no leader that separates, because real leaders bring things together, bring people, things.
Say that again. Real leaders
together.
Do what?
Bring things together. I wasn't going to say people, but just things in general come together. There's no division. You feel what I'm saying? And I'm going to let bro tap back in.
So I say all that to say this, because my thing, see, I've been on this planet for 50 years, almost 51, and I done seen a lot of shit. You feel me? And that being the case, having seen the shit I done seen, I also see a lot of potential. You feel me? Again, remember the other conversation we had when I talked about duality. Everything in life is a duality.
Right.
Everything. So even though I see the negative, I also see the positive. You feel me?
Right.
So that being the case, when you can look out and see what your youngsters are doing, and you can see where it may lead them because you done been through this shit, that means you have a responsibility to step out there and be like, look, bro, you don't want to do this route. Here's why. I done did it.
Right.
And this is what happened.
Right.
So don't be like me. Be better than me. Go this way.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And us doing that, now we're taking responsibility. Now each one of us is reaching each one of us, and we're teaching each one of us. And that means we should also teach that individual that the same shit that I'm telling you, tell somebody else the same shit that I'm telling you. Teach somebody else that's younger than you the same shit that I'm teaching you. If we do that, now we're being responsible men. That means we don't let go of that childish shit. See, because as a grown man, you got to put away the childish shit. And now you got to start acting as a man. Period. Point blank. And every man stands on his what?
His own too.
God damn, how the fuck did he know I was going to say that?
We vibrating. and listening to you speak, it made me think about what you said before when you was talking about tribes and one everybody having the same thing, so or one not having something that he lusts for that the other one having it, and it causes jealousy and envy, which is, I see that in modern time. And I was just thinking that when you were speaking, like, you know what I'm saying, like to compliment what you were saying, I see that in modern time when I look at what's going on with the gangs and stuff, or the older gangsters, or the pimps, players, whatever, because
I blame them, bro.
They'll see the people with the jewels, the youngster with the jewels, and they be jealous that they ain't got the jewels. Yeah, and with that being said, bro, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up.